The air crackles with an unseen tension, a whisper of a struggle playing out just beneath the surface of everyday life. Have you ever felt it? That unsettling pull, a strange magnetism towards outcomes you consciously dread, towards choices that seem to actively undermine your own well-being. It's a paradox, isn't it? To desire growth, to yearn for a different path, yet find yourself time and again walking the familiar, self-defeating road. This isn't about weakness or a lack of intelligence. It's about something far more intricate, more deeply woven into the fabric of our being. If these invisible patterns resonate with your own experience, consider subscribing to Invisible Patterns, where we delve into the hidden machinery of the human mind. Today, we embark on an investigation, not into a crime scene, but into the labyrinthine corridors of the mind, seeking to understand a profound mystery. Why does your brain, with all its incredible capacity for foresight and reason, often choose self-sabotage over genuine, transformative change? It's a question that haunts many, leaving them feeling trapped in cycles they desperately wish to escape. We're going to peel back the layers, examining the subtle, often unconscious forces that make the known, even if painful, feel safer than the unknown, however promising. Our journey begins with Elias, a brilliant software engineer in his 30s. Elias was, by all outward appearances, highly successful. He held a coveted position at a leading tech company, earned a substantial salary, and possessed a sharp intellect. However, beneath this polished exterior, a persistent pattern of self-sabotage was slowly and insidiously unraveling his life. His professional reputation, though strong, was marred by a peculiar habit. He consistently delayed the delivery of critical project components until the very last minute, often spending sleepless nights fueled by caffeine and anxiety. The work would be excellent, even flawless, but the process was agonizing, a crucible of self-imposed stress. This was not an isolated error, it was a recurring theme, a signature move in his professional repertoire. This pattern extended beyond his career. In his personal life, Elias found himself drawn to relationships that, despite initial sparks, invariably ended in predictable and painful ways. He would meet someone, a connection would form, and as soon as things began to deepen, a subtle shift occurred. He would become distant, critical, or find seemingly trivial reasons to create conflict, pushing away the very intimacy he claimed to desire. His longest relationship with Clara had ended just 6 months prior, after a series of increasingly intense arguments that, in retrospect, Elias admitted to instigating. He felt a profound sense of loss, yet a strange, almost perverse comfort in the familiarity of the breakup. Elias was not oblivious to these patterns. He was, in fact, acutely aware of them. He spent hours analyzing his behavior, reading self-help books, and even attending a few therapy sessions, though he never committed to a long-term course. He understood, intellectually, that his actions were harmful. He knew he should start projects earlier. He knew he should communicate more openly in relationships, and he knew these behaviors led to suffering. Yet when the moment of decision arrived, an invisible hand seemed to guide him back to the familiar self-sabotaging path. This is the heart of our mystery. Why, when the conscious mind cries out for change, does the unconscious whisper a different, more compelling narrative? To unravel this, we must first understand the brain's fundamental directive: survival. Not just physical survival, but psychological survival. The brain is a master of pattern recognition, an expert in efficiency. It thrives on predictability. Anything new, anything unknown, represents a potential threat. Change, by its very definition, is a leap into the unknown. Even positive change, even change that promises a better future. For the brain, the devil you know often feels infinitely safer than the angel you don't. Consider Elias and his project deadlines. Why the last-minute rush? For Elias, this was not mere procrastination. It was a deeply rooted, albeit unconscious, coping mechanism. Throughout his childhood, Elias had an overprotective father who set impossibly high standards. His father's approval was conditional, often withheld, and only granted after extraordinary effort. Elias learned early on that success wasn't simply achieving a goal, it was achieving it under immense pressure, often after a period of intense struggle and self-doubt. The high-stakes environment of an imminent deadline, the rush of adrenaline, the intense focus required to overcome, this recreated a familiar emotional landscape from his youth. It was a world where he understood the rules, however painful they were. The final brilliant submission, delivered at the 11th hour, was a repetition of his childhood triumphs, a desperate reach for the approval he always craved. The anxiety and stress were the entry price for a familiar, though dysfunctional, victory. Now, let's examine Elias's relationship patterns. His tendency to push people away when intimacy deepened speaks to another fundamental aspect of self-sabotage: the fear of vulnerability. In his early life, Elias experienced significant emotional abandonment. His mother, though loving, was frequently absent due to chronic illness, leaving young Elias feeling alone and helpless. He learned that attachment often led to pain, to feeling exposed and ultimately abandoned. As an adult, when a relationship with Clara began to deepen, when the possibility of true intimacy and genuine connection presented itself, an alarm sounded in Elias's unconscious mind. This deepening connection, this vulnerability, felt like a prelude to the familiar pain of abandonment. Self-sabotage, in this light, is not a failure. It is a protective strategy. It is the brain's attempt to shield us from perceived threats, to maintain a sense of control in an unpredictable world. For Elias, creating conflict and pushing Clara away was a preemptive strike. It allowed him to control the narrative of the breakup, inflicting the pain on his own terms rather than waiting for the inevitable and excruciating feeling of being abandoned. It was a tragic irony. In his desperate attempt to avoid the pain of abandonment, he inadvertently orchestrated it repeatedly. This is the insidious nature of behavioral patterns. They become so ingrained, so interwoven with our sense of identity, that they operate almost entirely outside of awareness. The brain, in its relentless pursuit of efficiency, creates neural pathways, like well-trodden paths in a forest. The more we repeat a behavior, the deeper and wider these paths become. When faced with a choice, the brain, seeking the path of least resistance, instinctively veers toward these familiar routes, even if they lead to undesirable destinations. This is why knowing better is often not enough. The conscious mind may articulate the desired change, but the unconscious mind, with its deeply rutted pathways, holds a powerful veto. This brings us to the concept of secondary gain. Dade. Although self-sabotage causes obvious pain and frustration, it often provides an unconscious benefit, a hidden reward. For Elias, the last-minute rush on projects, though stressful, brought a surge of adrenaline, a sense of being alive and challenged, and finally, the validation of a successful delivery. These were powerful, if fleeting, rewards. In his relationships, pushing others away, though painful, allowed him to avoid the deeper fear of true intimacy and the potential for heartbreak. It confirmed his existing belief system: I am destined to be alone, or people always leave. These beliefs, however painful, offered a strange sense of predictability, a framework for understanding his world. Change, on the other hand, requires us to abandon these well-worn paths. It requires the creation of new neural pathways, a process that is inherently energy-intensive and uncomfortable. It means confronting the unknown, facing the very fears that self-sabotage was designed to protect us from. It means willingly entering a state of vulnerability, of not knowing the outcome. This is why change feels so terrifying, why the brain often resists it with such tenacity. It's not about being weak, it's about overriding deeply programmed survival instincts. Consider the intricate dance between our explicit and implicit memories. Explicit memories are those we can consciously recall, facts, events, what we know. Implicit memories, however, operate below the surface, shaping our behaviors, emotions, and perceptions without our awareness. They are the lessons learned in childhood, the emotional impressions, the subtle cues that guide our reactions. Elias knew explicitly that he needed to change, but his implicit memories, rooted in his experiences with his father and mother, were dictating a different script, a script of striving under pressure and avoiding deep connection. The brain, in its relentless effort to create a coherent narrative of our existence, also engages in a process called cognitive dissonance reduction. When our actions conflict with our beliefs, the brain experiences discomfort. To alleviate this discomfort, it will often rationalize our self-sabotaging behaviors, finding reasons to justify them, or even distorting our perception of reality to align with our actions. Elias might tell himself, "I work better under pressure," or "all relationships eventually fail anyway." These rationalizations, while seemingly logical, serve to reinforce existing patterns, making change even more difficult. So how do we begin to dismantle these invisible patterns? The first and perhaps most crucial step is awareness. Not just intellectual awareness, but a deep, visceral recognition of the pattern as it unfolds. For Elias, this meant not just knowing that he procrastinated, but observing the sensation that preceded the procrastination, the rising anxiety, the feeling of overwhelm, the subtle urge to distract himself. It meant noticing the moment he began to pull away in a relationship, the internal criticism, the urge to create distance. This is where true self-observation comes into play, becoming an impartial witness to one's own internal landscape. The next step involves challenging the underlying beliefs that fuel self-sabotage. For Elias, this meant questioning the belief that he only achieved success under pressure, or that intimacy inevitably led to abandonment. It's not about simply declaring these beliefs false, but about gathering new evidence, creating new experiences that contradict them. It's about taking small, deliberate steps that build a new narrative. Instead of waiting until the last minute, Elias could commit to starting a project a week early, even if it felt uncomfortable. Instead of pulling away, he could practice staying in difficult conversations, allowing himself to be vulnerable in small, manageable doses. This process is akin to retraining a muscle. The old, familiar paths are strong, but with consistent effort, new paths can be forged. Every small victory, every conscious choice to deviate from the familiar pattern strengthens the new neural connections. It is a marathon, not a sprint, and it requires immense patience and self-compassion. There will be setbacks, moments when the old patterns reassert themselves. But every setback is an opportunity for further learning, for a deeper understanding of the subtle forces at play. The brain's inherent resistance to change is not a personal flaw. It is a testament to its protective instincts. Understanding this mechanism allows us to approach self-sabotage not with judgment, but with curiosity and a strategic mindset. It allows us to recognize that the comfort derived from familiar patterns, however destructive, is a powerful draw. The unknown, even when it promises growth and fulfillment, carries with it the primal fear of the unpredictable. Ultimately, the choice to embrace change, to forge new paths, is a profound act of courage. It is a decision to step into the discomfort of the unknown, to challenge deeply held beliefs and to rewrite the narratives that have shaped our lives. It is a commitment to a future where genuine connection, authentic fulfillment, and lasting well-being are not just aspirations, but lived realities. The mystery of why your brain chooses self-sabotage is not about finding a villain. It's about understanding a complex interplay of survival instincts, learned behaviors, and unconscious fears. It's about recognizing that the path of least resistance is not always the path of the greatest good. If you found this exploration insightful and are ready to uncover more of the invisible patterns that shape your life, I encourage you to subscribe to Invisible Patterns. Join our community as we continue to delve into the depths of human behavior, offering clarity and understanding, not quick fixes. Your journey toward deeper self-awareness begins now. This understanding, however, is only the first step. The intellectual grasp of why we self-sabotage, while crucial, does not automatically translate into behavioral change. This is where the true challenge lies, bridging the gap between insight and action. We may intellectually grasp the concept of neuroplasticity, the idea that our brains can change, yet still find ourselves stuck in the same patterns we wish to escape. This disconnect often stems from the fact that our emotional brain, the limbic system, operates with a different logic than our rational prefrontal cortex. The limbic system, particularly the amygdala, is wired for immediate survival and comfort, often prioritizing familiar, albeit harmful, coping mechanisms over the long-term benefits of new and unfamiliar behaviors. Consider the example of someone who consistently procrastinates on important tasks despite knowing the negative consequences. Intellectually, they understand that completing the task will reduce stress and lead to better outcomes. Emotionally, however, the immediate discomfort of starting a challenging task triggers a cascade of avoidance behaviors. The brain, seeking to minimize short-term discomfort, resorts to familiar distractions, social media, endless browsing, or other low-effort activities. Each time this happens, the neural pathway for procrastination is reinforced, becoming stronger and more efficient. The comfort derived from avoiding the task, however fleeting, becomes a powerful and unconscious reward. Breaking this cycle requires not just willpower, but a strategic approach to re-educating the emotional brain. This re-education often involves a process of deliberately introducing small, manageable doses of discomfort, gradually expanding our comfort zone. For the procrastinator, this might mean committing to work on the challenging task for just 5 minutes, and then allowing themselves a break. The key is to create a positive feedback loop where the act of engaging with the task, even for a short period, is associated with a sense of accomplishment rather than overwhelming dread. This principle extends to various forms of self-sabotage, from unhealthy eating habits to destructive relationship patterns. The initial resistance will be strong as the brain perceives these new behaviors as a threat to its established order. However, with consistent and gentle persistence, these new pathways begin to form, and the emotional brain begins to associate the new behavior with positive outcomes rather than negative ones. Another crucial aspect of understanding self-sabotage is recognizing the role of unconscious beliefs. Often, our self-sabotaging behaviors are rooted in deeply held beliefs about ourselves and the world that we may not even be aware of. These beliefs, often formed in childhood, can act as powerful and invisible scripts that dictate our actions. For example, someone who consistently undermines their own success may have an unconscious belief that they don't deserve success, or that success will inevitably lead to negative consequences like isolation or increased pressure. This belief, while irrational from a conscious perspective, can manifest as a powerful force that actively holds them back from achieving their goals. The brain, in its attempt to protect us from perceived threats, will subtly steer us away from situations that challenge these deeply ingrained, often painful beliefs. Uncovering these unconscious beliefs requires a process of introspection and self-questioning, often aided by practices like journaling, meditation, or therapy. It's about asking why repeatedly, not in a self-critical way, but with genuine curiosity. Why do I always give up when I'm close to a breakthrough? What do I fear will happen if I actually succeed? The answers to these questions can be uncomfortable, as they often reveal vulnerabilities and fears we have long suppressed. However, bringing these unconscious beliefs into awareness is the first step toward challenging and ultimately rewriting them. Once a belief is consciously recognized, it loses some of its power to dictate our actions. We can then begin to actively question its validity and explore alternative, more empowering narratives. The beauty of this process lies in its iterative nature. It is not about a single grand revelation, but a continuous journey of self-discovery and refinement. Each time we identify an unconscious belief or a pattern of self-sabotage, we gain a deeper understanding of our inner landscape. This understanding, in turn, empowers us to make more conscious choices, to step out of the automatic reactions dictated by our past. It is about cultivating a relationship with ourselves characterized by compassion, patience, and a willingness to explore uncomfortable truths. The goal is not to eradicate self-sabotage entirely, as it is an inherent part of the human experience, a manifestation of our brain's protective mechanisms, but to develop the awareness and tools to navigate it more effectively. Ultimately, the journey of overcoming self-sabotage is a journey of self-mastery. It is learning to be the architect of our own minds, rather than mere passengers of our ingrained patterns. It is recognizing that while our past has shaped us, it does not define our future. The power to choose, to consciously forge new paths, to rewrite our narratives, resides within each of us. This journey is not without its challenges, its moments of doubt and frustration, but the rewards, genuine connection, authentic fulfillment, and lasting well-being are immeasurable. As we continue to explore the invisible patterns that shape our lives, remember that every step toward greater self-awareness is a step toward a more empowered and fulfilling existence. Your commitment to understanding these intricate mechanisms is a testament to your desire for growth, and that desire is the most powerful catalyst for change.